Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Yes, it was supposed to be a tape program today, but we're going to go live from St. Andrews. But from here on out until August 17th, we will have a taped program. And I believe next Wednesday it'll be like the 70s. Leonard George, Willie Jackson Sr., Jack Youngblood, Carlos Alvarez, that whole crew. So make sure you tune in for that. Hopefully some people are watching today. If they're not, you can watch us at a later date. But we're going to go to the Titan MR hotline. We're joined by JC. JC, since nothing's happening in the sports world, why don't you give us an update on your golf game and your tennis game?
Well, first of all, I'm drinking the beautiful V8 Energy pineapple orange.
You have an NIL deal with V8.
Yeah, to wake me up, dude. It's a combined serving of veggies and fruit. There you go. Well,
you know, you're like a kid. You're like a kid. You won't eat your vegetables or your fruits, but you'll drink them.
Actually, I like green giant peas and string beans.
But green giant out of the can?
Oh yeah. Oh,
that's terrible.
Woo, that's good. I ate it all. But anyway, QB, look, I mean, right now, the things I guess that get my attention the most. Well, first of all, before I go into that, well, I sat last night. I just want to share this with you. I sat last night with myself and Hayden, and we watched the Tampa Bay Rays play the Boston Red Sox.
Who is Hayden? Tell everybody who Hayden is.
Hayden would be visiting from Dallas. He is a grandchild.
What does he call you? Papa John's Pizza.
Papa John. Yes. Old Hayden. There he is back there. Old Hayden. So we watched the Tampa Bay Rays play the Boston Red Sox last night. And the game started around 7-ish, something, whatever. It didn't get over to 11. And I thought to myself, I actually sat and watched the whole thing. And it was the first time I've watched a full baseball game probably I can't even tell you how long it's been. It's been years and years and years. And I thought to myself, in order to get through this, you have to be doing one of two things. You have to be either paying money and wagering on whatever happens either before, during the game, or you have to be paying to walk into the building, or you have to be getting paid by somebody to announce it or talk about it or write about it, because it is not practical to sit on your ass for 3.5 hours and literally watch a baseball game, which is about what they go these days. And I don't know if anybody cares about that because TV drives all of this. And somehow, I don't know what the ratings are or how they get ratings. I honestly, God, don't know how I sat through that. And I guess because I had nothing to do, I was tired. I had a long weekend, big weekend, great weekend. And yet I just felt like I felt like a vegetable, basically. And I thought to myself, I couldn't do this every night. There's just no way. And I don't think they want you to, but it was crazy. And by the way, the Rays looked good last night. They are, but they're 13 or some odd games behind the Yankees, and they're battling with Toronto and Boston, believe it or not, all in the same division for the wild card with a couple other teams behind them.
Well, being miserable, you could have done what I told you to do, is switch over to the Golf Channel and watch the JP McManus Pro-Am, where the Ryder Cup is here this year, correct?
Yeah.
Is it every 2 or 4 years?
No. I thought the Ryder Cup was in Wales. Or am I wrong about that?
Well, the Ryder Cup, I believe, is here. Is it every 2 or 4 years? I can't ever remember.
It's every 2 years.
Great. So, no, this is not recorded. This is live. We screwed y'all. We got roped into doing a show today because we didn't have one on Monday. So we're doing a show today. So from here on out on Wednesdays, Greg, it'll be recorded. You'll like them, I promise you. Okay. The reason I bring it up is because at this Adore Manor Golf Club, which is one of the most spectacular golf courses I've ever seen with these castles and everything.
Oh, castles, right.
It's in Ireland.
Okay.
It is the next time it goes over the pond, that's where the Ryder Cup is being played.
Oh, okay.
It's phenomenal. You've got to pull it up, JC. This dude, JP McManus, is a billionaire. He's a member at Augusta, I believe.
Okay.
But the PGA Tour players were saying it is nicer, like the turf and everything was nicer than Augusta National, which is hard to believe. So
that is really hard to believe. I can't believe that. And by the way, no, the Ryder Cup is in
it's here.
It's in 2023, is it not?
Oh, I'm thinking of what are they having this fall at Quail Hollow?
I think you're thinking of the President's Cup.
Yeah. That's what's happening.
So the Ryder Cup is every 2 years, and it is next going to be in Italy next year in Italy. And,
it would be 2027 or something like that. But anyway, so this is not a recorded show, folks. We're live. So if you got questions, give them to us. We got some Facebook Lives here. Before we move on, Andy says we got bonus coverage. Yes, you get bonus coverage up in Chicago.
Andy. All right.
Joseph says Major League Baseball is terrible. By far the worst sport to watch. Baseball is great, but watching those games is like watching paint dry.
I couldn't believe it. But now the Rays won a 8-4 last night and beat the Red Sox. And I couldn't believe I sat there and watched the whole damn thing. But I can't see myself doing that consistently, or maybe rest of the summer. I like watching from time to time, little bits and pieces here and there. And I did turn to that, in between innings QB, I turned to the golf. But
you got to go back. That place it blew my mind, first of all, how many people were there watching this Pro-Am.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously we're going to do our Peachland Dental Picks for the Scottish Open and the Barbasol. Marissa says, JC, what are you drinking from? An aluminum can? Are you trying to lose weight or sign up for early onset dementia?
Why?
I guess drinking out of an aluminum can. I don't know.
Really? Onset dementia? This gives me dementia? Who said that?
I don't know. Marissa. So maybe she's a doctor. I don't know. All right. Did you see this, JC? Because somebody told me about this. Actually, I was on Buddy Martin's show last night, and some listeners brought it up. I did not hear about it, but they told us what it was about. Andy says, did y'all see or hear that Billy Horschel called out the Tour 54 players yesterday? Did you hear that?
Yeah. Well, what I heard him say was that he chose to be away from his wife and kids because that was his choice to go to Europe. He wasn't paid to do it. He chose to do it. And that's really the only cut I heard.
He basically said they were all hypocrites is what he was saying.
Yeah, and Billy's not going to hold back. Why should he? He's a tour champion. He's won the Memorial. He's a big shot. And I think it doesn't offend me at all that these guys go and do this. But I just think that anybody who's trying to prop that Tour 54 up and try and tell me it's real competition for the PGA, I think is misleading people.
I don't think it's like going down to your local charity golf event, celebrity charity golf event. Raising money for a booster club.
How much time did you spend watching the Live Tour?
I have not watched one bit of it, and I wouldn't even know where to watch it because they're not on TV.
Right. So there's very little or zero distribution. These golfers are basically just banking Saudi Arabian money, which is fine. I mean, it's whoever wants to pay you pays you. Although some folks are saying that is not moral. I think we've thrown morals out the window here in the world the last, I don't know how many years, but I think that these golfers have basically decided they don't care. They don't care what you think about them, and they're going to take the check. And if they want to be a household name in Lisbon, Portugal, or wherever that tour spends most of its time, that's up to them. But I'd rather be a household name in Atlanta, Georgia. And most of them are. But when they start going away and you don't see them playing, it's kind of outside, out of mind thing. You're going to start thinking of other things and other players that we're actually watching. And we do get to watch the best in the world on the PGA Tour.
What it is it's almost a tour for the really young gun, competitive best players in the world. getting to the senior tour. That's basically what it is. It's like a bridge between real golf and then old man golf when you've already made a lot of money and you're going to play when you're 50 or older just for fun. Because it's kind of the same format. You've only played 3 rounds. However, there's still the shotgunning is so dumb to me. The no cuts, the team games, it's goofy golf.
Well, it's a little quirky, and I just don't keep up with all that. That's for them to look. It's their own thing. They can all take their yachts across the Mediterranean and play different courses. Great, whatever. None of that means a flipping thing to me. I'd rather watch the Tampa Bay Rays smoke the Red Sox, frankly.
You'd rather watch a 4-hour baseball game, right?
Well, I can't believe I did that. And like I tell you, I won't be doing it tonight. But it didn't bother me. I mean, it was 8-4. It wasn't a snoozer, but it took 3.5 some odd hours. I'm thinking, wow, this is unbelievable. How do they do this every night? And again, it's the people who are betting on it, the people who are getting paid to announce it, or the people who are actually paying the tickets to go watch it, who may be visiting from somewhere in Boston that night. I don't know. I don't know how many locals actually on a work night go there for 3.5 hours to Fenway Park.
I would say majority of those people, in my opinion, that go to Fenway and Wrigley are tourists.
A lot of visitors. There's a lot of visitors.
Yeah.
That's the truth. So QB, the big talk here lately.
Hang on. Before we get to that, I got to tell you about Ruse Ogre State Farm Office. It's a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call, 352-240-1779. Speaking with JC on the Titan Moore Hotline. We are live, folks. It's not a taped event. Starting next Wednesday, we gave you false information. Starting next Wednesday, it will be taped until August 17th. But JC, we got a text on the Titan Moore text line from Stinger. Stinger says, who's y'all's favorite tennis player of all time?
God bless Stinger, whoever that is. I think I'm going to go with. I kind of liked
Bjorn Borg.
Pete Sampras. Actually, I like the Agassi guy. And then on the women's side, it would be, I guess, Chris Evert. She's a Florida girl. But I don't really, again, this is one of those sports that unless you're betting on it or being paid to announce it, I can't imagine sitting there watching two dudes battle out the best of 5 sets. For me, it's just, I got into the age where I just can't do it unless, again, you're betting on it or you're getting paid to announce it.
Yeah, tennis. We talked about this. I used to play a lot of tennis when I was younger. Not younger, but when I was done playing pro ball. I was a decent player, but my shoulder started bothering me and I shut it down. But the more I think about it as I get older,
yeah,
it's a great sport. Don't get me wrong, because you play on different surfaces. But the dimensions are the same. The net is the same height.
It's like basketball, QB. It's basketball. It's like basketball.
Yeah.
It's like basketball. And you can't say that about baseball either because the dimensions are not the same, except in the infield. But it's like basketball. It's the same. Everything's the same. I think tennis for middle-aged people like myself is
middle-aged. Are you middle-aged?
Hell yeah. It's a wonderful thing to do. It's a wonderful thing to do for people, middle-aged people who are athletic, by the way, and who like to exercise and run around and who have sometimes restless leg syndrome. It's a great exercise to go out and run around and beat the ball. It's hand-eye coordination. It's front, back, sideways, and all this. You can sweat your ass off when you're playing in singles. Actually, you can do it in doubles if you play in Florida or somewhere like that. And so it's great exercise. It's better than golf. It's better exercise than golf. That's 100%. And it will get your heart rate up. So I don't know. It's been a good thing for me to learn how to play. And
JC, I got to ask you this. Did you have a pair of Stan Smiths back in the day? Adidas Stan Smiths? Stan
Smith, yeah. No, but I did have a Pancho Gonzalez racket that was wooden and Eli Nastasi racket. But I didn't really care for tennis until I got to middle age. Then once I got to middle age, tennis became really exciting because it's such good exercise. So, and it keeps you young, man. I mean, you are really busting it. And I played twice over the weekend during the 4th of July. I had a great time, played in the morning, just awesome. It was just great because I felt so good the rest of the day, QB. I didn't have a guilty conscience going off and drinking a few pitchers of beer after I played tennis, because I played tennis. It didn't bother me celebrating the 4th of July after I played tennis. It's one of those deals where I felt like I got something done in the morning, and that way in the afternoon I felt really good about myself. But anyway, QB, so I'm thinking about right now. Oh, by the way, did you see this kid? I know we don't like to talk much about recruiting, but there's a kid from Lehigh Acres, Florida, who is the number 1 running back on 3 with the on 3 recruiting service, a 5-star running back. He didn't even have Florida in his choices. And I don't know about you, but doesn't Florida need running backs?
Well, we got some good ones right now.
Okay, good. This kid, Richard Young, who's a 5-star and the number 1.
Where's he from?
Lehigh Acres.
Where's that at?
I don't know. It's in Florida. And he's listed. Yeah, he's a 6 foot 1 inch, 205 pounder. That is apparently the number 1 recruit in the state, in the country, according to On 3. And he's got 2 other SEC schools in Oregon on his list, and that's it. And
I don't think he's from Florida. I thought the top running back from Florida, and some of our listeners, obviously a lot of our listeners are sleeping
I'll tell you who he is.
and taking a vacation. I thought he was from like Edgewater out of Orlando.
His name is Richard Young.
I don't think he's from Florida.
He is the number 7 player in the state of Florida, and he's the number 1 running back according to On 3 consensus. Now, I don't care if that's right or wrong. I don't know, but I'm just surprised he has no.
Okay, it's down by Fort Myers. That woke up all our listeners when you started talking.
Thank you. Well, he's okay, but he's got no Florida schools. Not Miami, not FSU, not Florida, not UCF. Nobody in Florida is, and I can't understand it. This kid is the number 1 running back and the number 7 player in the state of Florida. He has no interest in going to Florida. It's Georgia, it's Oregon, and it's Alabama. Whatever.
Well,
okay.
I can understand two of the 3.
Well, Oregon. So speaking of Oregon, since I brought that
Joseph says Cedric Baxter's the number 1 running back in America.
Well,
I don't know
again,
who he is. I thought the number 1 running back in America was out of Edgewater in Orlando. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, okay. Listen, throw them all in a basket and toss them out. Whatever. The service that you subscribe to tells you that's what you're going to believe. If 24/7 is different than Rivals, is different than On 3, it doesn't really make any difference to me. But
I think you should start a service.
Well, then I'd have to actually put time into that, QB. You
hire people to do that for you.
Well, I'd have to pay them with something. Okay, I'd have to pay. What? Maybe I could get them some V8 energy drinks, but we wouldn't want to drink them out of a can. We'll just do it. We'll do a plastic version if that's okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So speaking of Oregon, since I brought up Oregon school, they're frantic right now. Everybody in that Pac-12 conference is frantic, and it's not because of what we just learned from USC and UCLA, which is actually why it all started.
I was correct. Hang on. Baxter is from Orlando Edgewater. He's the number 1 running back in America, and he is on Florida's list.
Not according to On 3's.
You just told me he's the number 7 running back in America.
No, the number 7 player, the number 1 running back. So that's what On 3 says. I don't care who On 3 is.
On 3 says he's the number 1. This other publication says this other kid's number 1. Regardless, I do know the Baxter kid, which is at Orlando Edgewater, has the Gators on his list. So, okay.
All right. Well, that's good to know. But, I'm just saying this kid Young didn't have any Florida school on his list, which is blowing my mind. But maybe he really is kind of like me, wanted to go off and see the world. All right. So, Oregon, kind of like you, QB, you left and went out to see the world. So, Oregon they're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? The school that should be worried is Oregon State. Because it seems like right now the Big 12 is going to be aggressive. They're going to be acquiring, as it were. And now that with USC and UCLA going in 2024, which is 2 more seasons of football where they are, we are looking at the Big 12 expanding now beyond the 4 that they're bringing in: Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, and BYU, and we're going to be adding the 2 Arizona schools. And Arizona State is a big school. Colorado and Utah, the team coming here. And those bring in
You're defending Pac-12 champs.
And they bring in some pretty decent sized television markets. I mean, the Phoenix market is the 11th market in the country. Okay. Now, this is all driven, in my mind, and I believe to be right, by revenue. It's driven by the TV people. And I think this is what USC and UCLA thought. And the Pac-12, George Kliavkoff, in all his wisdom, decided when they had that goofy alliance with the Big Ten that they didn't need a written contract because they had what was called a gentleman's agreement. And guess how far that got them? Kevin Warren went out and said, sure, USC and UCLA, come on board. The Pac-12 messed up when they thought, well, USC is going to pay this guy $100 million to come from Oklahoma. We're going to need money. Well, the Pac-12's TV contract is coming up here in a year and a half, 2 years. And without those two schools, they're not going to be able to negotiate a very good contract. The biggest revenue producer in TV is the Big Ten, followed by the SEC. So, of course, Southern Cal is going to look to maybe go somewhere when they're offering half the Orange County and LA County to Lincoln Riley.
So, JC, let me ask you this, because as you just stated, and we've all known, this is all about the TV markets where the revenue comes from, correct?
Revenue is what drives all of it.
Okay. So explain to me how the Pac-12 that has the state of California, you just said they have the state of Arizona, which is one of the largest markets out there.
Well, it's a big one. No, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so how I don't think when you look at the television market, so to speak, for the Pac-12, it obviously let them down from a revenue standpoint.
Well, it's about what the schools are thinking. The schools, remember, it's about grant of rights. When you sell your rights to the Big Ten Conference, you are then locking in to the Big Ten Conference's television revenue stream. And now the Big Ten Conference is going to go sell that to Walmart, Amazon, whoever, and add the second largest market in America to its television package, which makes it a lot more attractive, and that's Los Angeles. And
no, I get that, but my point is the Pac-12 obviously didn't do a very good job selling their television market.
Remember, those TV deals were very, very long. I mean, those things didn't go 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They were the previous TV deals were sold years and years and years ago. And yes, those markets were better, I think, back then than they are today. But what we've seen with the college football playoff and what we've seen with television numbers and revenues have increased in markets other than what we're seeing out west. And what you have out west is a somewhat of a dwindling interest when you've got a school like Washington State that is $100 million in the red right now, operating out of deficits. They're going to go bankrupt. They don't have a conference to go to, and they don't. And why is this girl driving a cart in the fairway with water?
Cart path only. Go holler at her, JC.
Come on, cart path. See, I'm one of those old guys. Get your ball out of my yard.
You complain when there's a fivesome out there.
I got to call the pressure. I can't believe these women are driving out here on this fairway with water everywhere. But anyway, so what I was getting at, and sorry to get distracted by that, but I'm shocked at this. But what I'm getting at is that the schools are now, they're basically looking out for themselves. Oregon State, Washington State, California, Stanford, they're in big trouble. They're going to end up being relegation. Those English soccer fans on our broadcast today know what relegation means. But they're going to be relegated to playing the San Diego States, the Boise States, the Colorado States, the Utah States of the world now, which is basically what they should be playing anyway. Washington State, have you ever been to Pullman? They have been beneficiary. They've been a total beneficiary of everyone else's subsidy because they pull zero. Now, you do see their flag everywhere you go in the country, but that's a small school. They should be playing Boise State. That's who they're going to end up playing. And I don't know how they're going to afford all this with the TV contracts that they're not going to get out of a Pac-10 or Pac-12 package that's soon to be renegotiated. But what's going to happen is you've got the two Arizonas, Colorado, and Utah now joining the Big 12 in all likelihood. Hasn't happened yet. You then have Oregon and Washington, who will likely join the Big 10 in all likelihood. All of this is moving around, and we're still 2 years away from seeing it actually happen in reality, but it's going to happen.
We got a Facebook Live here from our recruiting group. Joseph says, actually, according to 24/7 Sports, We have a new number one running back in America. It's Reuben Owens. Number 2 is Cedric Baxter. Number 3 is Richard Young. But other sites do have Young and Baxter as number 1. So it just depends on which one you subscribe to, as you said.
Yeah, my point was, I don't care what his ranking is. When it comes to 1, 2, or 3, it's whatever it is. But he didn't even have a Florida school on his list, is what I can't believe. I can't believe that.
Okay, so Andy's talking about Notre Dame here. I mean, they have to join the Big Ten, right, JC?
Well, at some point, they have to join some conference, and the Big Ten makes the most logic. But right now, they're connected with the ACC. And I don't know if or what the ACC or its member schools are going to do. They have basically signed their rights off for the next 14 years. And I don't know how you get out of that. I don't know how you get around it, because if Florida State said, well, we're going to go to the SEC, then every time you saw Florida State on TV, the ACC would get the money, not the SEC. The SEC wouldn't get that. And so I don't know how these schools are going to get around this. The only way the ACC dissolves, the only way you get out of this 2036 grant of rights deal is if the ACC dissolves. The only way you can get the conference like that to dissolve would be a consensus amongst all the schools, or at least a majority of them, to basically say, we're leaving and we're out of here. And the conference wouldn't have any member schools left. And I don't know how you do that, because then you're going to involve lawyers everywhere, and it's going to cost you just as much money. So I think Clemson and Florida State and Miami are screwed. They're going to be stuck in the ACC. Now, they may not mind that, but their TV dollars are going to be fractional compared to what the Big Ten and the SEC gets. I mean, we're talking about between $90 and $110 million per school. Now, you talk about the biggest beneficiary of that could be a school like Vanderbilt that provides absolutely no value, but then collects because of its member status. It's like they bought the house on that hill or at the beach that nobody else thought of 25 years ago. And now there's high rises everywhere next to it, and they own the property. So they can they can name their price for it. And they're catching a great bid, because what are they? They're nothing. But yet there they are in the SEC, going to get paid just as much as Alabama. So, it's just the way it works. But I tell you, Clemson and Florida State, Miami have a real pickle, unless they just plan on. And as far as Notre Dame goes, Notre Dame has got to do something. At Notre Dame games, QB, they don't even have advertising in the stadium. There's no advertising. Notre Dame is a relatively small school, but you know what else Notre Dame has? It has 3 times the endowment of Ohio State, who has 6 times as many students. Notre Dame's endowment, everything about Notre Dame is mostly self-funded, but at some point, the law of large numbers will be too much for them to ignore, and they will have to join the Big Ten. And that's assuming the Big Ten says, yeah, come on board, which they will. So I don't know. I think we're seeing a lot of moving parts, but I can't imagine Notre Dame staying with its independence unless they want to self-fund. Their endowment, we talk about these endowments. The funny thing is, nobody spends them. All they are numbers that the administrators talk about at cocktail parties on the 7th floor of the Swamp. That's all the endowments are. That's all they are. Oh, on my number, I've got 38 billion. Well, I've got 35 billion, and nobody spends any of it. Look at these tuition rates. But yet, Notre Dame is independent. They're not going to be able to last as an independent probably for another 5 years. After that, I'd say in 5 years, they got to find somewhere to go.
Back to our recruiting news on the running backs. Joseph says,
why did I bring that up? Why did I bring up this damn running back?
The Reuben Owens running back, who is in some polls the number 1 running back in America. No, you know where he's committed to, JC?
LSU.
Louisville.
Yeah.
Papa John must be giving him an NIL deal.
Papa John, baby. Yeah. Well, Louisville's one of those schools, isn't it? I mean, basketball is good there, but football is just about as mediocre as it can get. And I don't, and the ACC has a lot of those schools kind of meandering in their conference. Syracuse, Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech, Louisville, Wake Forest, NC State. I guess you can always say that. You can say that about every conference. They all have their mediocrity. But I don't know what these ACC schools are going to do when they see the TV numbers that the SEC schools are going to get and that the Big Ten schools are going to get. They're going to look at their deal and they're going to say, we want a new deal. We can't wait till 2036 under the current financial conditions and operate on the same level as these others when their revenues are 2-3 times greater than ours. So that 2036 thing looks good to protect the league now. But once these other deals start happening 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years from now, the ACC's these schools are going to have to do something to renegotiate it, unless they just leave the conference. The only way you get out of the grant of rights deal is to dissolve the conference. That's the only way. That's why Texas and Oklahoma were never coming here before 2025. They just don't have the. They don't want to give up their rights to another, to another conference.
Marissa says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law. I hope when those recruits visit Florida, they are showing them some kind of plan on the improvements to the swamp, because that would be my biggest beef with UF. It has old school charm, but I don't think an 18-year-old will fall in love with it. Maybe a 50-year-old would. I think it's reversed.
Yeah.
The 50-year-olds can't stand the swamp because it's so uncomfortable. The 18-year-olds love it because of the atmosphere. They don't give a damn about what the seats look like. All they care about is the noise and the atmosphere.
Well, obviously, the biggest thing that needed to be done is being done, and that's the football-only facility, and getting rid of that ridiculous Kakita Stadium. That was the first thing that had to happen. It's happening. We're going to open this place up. You're going to be, I'm sure, going to be at the ceremony, QB, walking in that place when they do it. And it can't be much further from now. How much longer is it going to be?
It's going to be sometime in August when they move in.
So we're a month away from having that brand new, spectacular football-only facility. And that, I think, is the first place recruits go when they visit. Would be.
Yeah, that's all they care about. Yeah.
That's right. That's what they want to see, where their place of living is going to be. Like.
JC, we're going to take a quick time out. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do our Peachland Dental golf picks because we went a little longer here, but I got to take a break. So hang on there, get you another V8 and pound it during the break. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate. Premium brands like Escape Apology, Sushi Hana, Regal Cinemas, Kilwins, Le Macaron, Prime and Pearl in the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2:30 you can get the hottest brunch in town. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. Back with JC on the Titan MR Hotline. We are live. We are our last live Wednesday program until August 17th. JC, before we get to our Peachland Dental Picks, I saw this tweet the other day. I meant to bring it up. They've already got the way too early top 25 for college baseball next year.
Oh.
Out of the top 25, how many SEC programs you think are in the top 25?
10.
9. Who do you think they have the number one team in America?
Tennessee.
No, the LSU Tigers, because they have basically they're like the king of the transfer portal in baseball. They brought in some really, really good players, And
well, we'll see if that even matters, because it all comes down to who's playing in May and June. So,
my point is they brought in some good players.
Yeah.
From other squads that wanted to come. So LSU's number 1, Tennessee is 2,
right.
A&M at 5, Ole Miss is at 6, the Hogs are at 10, Gators at 11.
Okay.
Vandy's at 16, and Mississippi State's at 23, Auburn's at 24.
Yeah.
So that's your no OU in here anywhere. Texas comes in at 15. So anyway, I thought that was interesting.
It's a great league. It's a great league in baseball. It's a great league. It's just a great.
All right, now it's time to get to our Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's number 1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Go visit them, folks, at peachlanddental.com. We are picking the 2 golf tournaments this weekend. You got the Barbasol, which is here in the States for the boys that didn't qualify for the British Open. Well, I guess you didn't have to qualify. You could play in this if you were playing in the British Open, but most of the time you go over there a week early, practice on some links courses.
Well,
plus they got the Scottish Open, which is a big deal now. So CBS will be carrying it. So let's start with the Barbasol, JC, which is being played in Kentucky.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely stunned that Rory McIlroy is at the Barbasol and not at the Scottish.
He's not, is he?
He's at the Barbasol. And
no, he's not.
I'm looking at his name. It's right here. I'm picking him, by the way. I want Rory in the Barbasol.
Okay, well, I don't think he's there. I think that's got to be a typo.
He's teeing off at 6:45. Okay.
Let me see. 6:45 a.m.
I don't know why it says that.
That is not Roy McIlroy. That's Richard McEvoy.
McEvoy. Okay. Good God. What?
And if you look at it closely, JC, Richard McEvoy, not Roy
who's from
England.
England, that's right. The wrong flag. I got the flag wrong. Okay, my bad. Look, okay, I haven't finished my V8 yet. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go. we're gonna go with this is a tournament of also rans who are just trying to win something to get a tour card for the next 2 years, which I think you can get by winning this.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got players in this tournament. Really, to them, this is their U.S. Open. I mean, this is their biggest thing going because a lot of them don't have status. Kevin Statler, D.A. Points, Camilo Villegas. These guys don't have status. So that by winning this, it could really help them for the next 2 years if they want to continue to play golf. So with that being said, you're basically just throwing darts right now with these names, QB. There's no way of knowing. But I'm going to go with Ryan Moore from America. Ryan Moore.
I'm going to go with from America, Kevin Streelman.
I absolutely can see that happening. I'm going to go with one of our newest with a guy from a country that just joined NATO, and that would be Sweden. And I'm going with Jonas Blixt.
Jonas Blixt is your second pick?
Yeah.
I'm going with another American, Chesson Hadley.
Okay. And then I'm going to finish it up with another American, Trey Mullinax, however you say it, Mullinax. It was between him and Dave Lingmerth, but I took
my third pick. Let me find here. I'm going with a Japanese player, Satoshi Kadara.
Okay. I mean, it was hard to take between.
Well, he's ranked 193rd in the world. He's at the FedEx Cup. He's 168. What do you got to get to 125 to retain your cup? Maybe if he wins, that'll jump him up. So, yes, I'm going. So you have Ryan Moore, Jonas Blixt, and Troy Mullinax. Mm-hmm. I have Kevin Streelman, Shidosi, however you pronounce his name, Kadara, and Chesson Hadley.
Beautiful.
Okay. The big event before next week's British Open is the Scottish Open. I wonder if anybody's ever gone back-to-back with the Scottish and the British Open.
Yeah, I would guess maybe Phil Mickelson, but I don't know that. I really don't know. I would say the Scottish Open has somehow emerged now as one of the premier events because of the field that we see. And it used to not be anything like this. The Scottish Open was one of those secondary European Tour kind of like fields. And now you've got all the heavy hitter, well, many of the heavy hitters playing in this tournament prior to the big one next week, the last major of the year. So I don't know. This is going to be interesting. I typically want to take foreign players when it comes to coming over to this side. Do what? Are you there?
Yeah, you broke up for a second. Okay, who's your first pick?
I want to take Justin Rose to start it off.
Justin Rose.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the way he's playing. Hey, Joe.
Justin Rose. Is he from Northern Ireland?
He's not.
Did you look at his flag wrong?
No, I got that one right. I actually know where he's from. He's a Brit.
You know what? I'm going to go with your U.S. Open champ, Matt Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? I'm thinking about taking him next week, though, so I'm going to wait.
Oh, shoot. I'm thinking we're picking the British Open.
No, come on, QB. I've been talking about
it's the Scottish Open. Yes. Oh, well. Same damn kind of terrain.
Listen, he's still playing in it. You can take him.
I know.
Maybe he'll be the guy that goes back to back. Maybe.
What if he wins the U.S., the Scottish, and the British?
He'd be the greatest global player of 2022. There's no question. He'd be the golfer.
I don't know if anybody's ever done that.
Well, he would be the champion golfer of the year, and he would also be not with the gold medal. He'd be the champion golfer of the year.
What was that guy's name that used to introduce? I think he passed away. He introduced everybody on the first tee.
Oh yeah, on the first tee from America. No, he's. I don't know if he's retired or if he died.
He used to say from the USA.
From the USA. Roy Matthews.
Johnny Cornell.
Shane Matthews. It is great. I got 1 year. I hope before I croak, I get.
You never played over there?
No, but it's not just that. I think I'd like to actually watch the British Open and drink copious amounts, pints, and like this tall, and just be a European or something. Okay, so let's see. All right, my second pick for this week would be. I'll tell you, I like the way Shoffley played that tournament, but I'm going to go with another Brit. I'm going to take Tommy Fleetwood. Fleetwood. Yep, Tommy Fleetwood.
You got two Englishmen.
Mm-hmm.
We've picked three Englishmen, by the way. I am going to go with my second pick for the Genesis Scottish Open.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Max Homa.
Yeah, I was looking at him. He's had a bunch of wins this year, man. He's the best golfer that nobody talks about. He's got multiple wins this year. He's really played well. But this is the kind of tournament that Matt Kuchar wins or something like that. And then he doesn't make the cut next week. So, but I'm not going to take our friend Matt Kuchar, even though I think he's cool. I'm going to take okay, I guess I'm just going to go all international at the Genesis Scottish Open and take Thorbjorn Olesen. Thorbjorn is from Denmark. And Thorbjorn was in the final pairing a couple years ago. This is his comfort zone, I would guess. So give me the Dane, Thorbjorn Olesen, Justin Rose from Britain, and I already forgot the other Britain guy.
You got Rose,
Tommy
Fleetwood, and Thorbjorn.
Thorbjorn. Justin, right, Tommy and Thorbjorn. Yep.
Let's see. I think I'm going to go on my last and final pick. Let's see if old little young Will Zalatoris can't get off.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I'm thinking at some point, but we're over there on the other side of the pond. I don't know.
You think he's drank too much beer over there?
Well, it's just hard to see. It's hard for me to say how some of these guys will react to traveling, and I don't know. Young
JC,
players
they ain't flying like you fly.
No, it's true. But there's time zones. There's accommodation differences. There's traveling. On the ground. There's the weather can be a problem. I don't know.
See, when I was over there and I was in Scotland, I was in Scotland for 7 days, and I was there because we played in a charity event against some rugby players. I went with the Mannings, but this one course that we played, it was 75 degrees, and we're walking, going like north, turn around and come back the south on the next hole going south. It was raining sideways and about 40 degrees. I changed clothes more times on that damn round, putting sweaters on, rain suits. It was crazy.
What course was it? What course was it?
We played like 5 different ones. I can't even remember. One of them was Muirfield. Is that right? Sound right?
That's Muirfield is on the rotation. That's Jack's favorite. That's That's why he named Muirfield. He named it after the Muirfield in England or Scotland. He named the one in Ohio, Muirfield. By that's why. That's his favorite. He said that's his favorite rotation course.
Before we let you go, JC, I want you to hear This Day in Sports brought to you by Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat. Schedule your air conditioners tune up today, keeping you chill and the Florida heat far away. Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Give them a call, 352-376-2366. I saw this and I had to pick this as This Day in Sports. I've never heard of this. 1989, ex-Phillies third baseman Mike Schmidt becomes the first retired Major League Baseball player to be named to the All-Star game.
Oh.
But he elected not to play. How's that possible?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I remember how cool the All-Star game used to be. Remember the Gillette ballots we used to get at Publix or somewhere, and you get to vote for your players on each position and then turn it in? Yeah. I mean, that's what.
But how? Okay, so speaking of that, in 1989, I don't know if they were still doing that, but why would Mike Schmidt even be on the ballot if he's retired?
I don't. Yeah. Well, those pre-printed ballots, you would punch out the little squares for each position. Dave Winfield always got my vote for the Yankees, outfielder. But so this has been an interesting hour. We talked about baseball, we talked about a running back, we talked about conference realignment, we talked about golf and the British Open and Scottish Open and all these certain things. See, QB, there are things to talk about in July.
Yeah. And we got one more Facebook Live here from Camp. He says, I love the swamp as it is. Just out of curiosity, how difficult would it be for Florida to expand the seating capacity? The current capacity, but how the college landscape has changed, we may want to make it larger at some point. No. Stadiums are going the other way.
Yeah.
Nobody goes to the games.
You cannot sit in slots this wide, anymore on bleachers. Those are going by the wayside.
Plus, we can't.
I don't want to go to that.
We have zero way. Even if you did want to expand, I know years ago they talked about putting like another deck over on the east side, but you can't because of how old the stadium is. Florida Gym is like what is it? What do they call those places that you can't tear down, JC?
Yeah, it's one of those protected
deals. So look, if anything happens to the swamp, they're going to take out the lower bowl and maybe make wider chairback seats all around the lower bowl.
Well, the east and west side really isn't a bowl. It's just one side that goes straight up.
I would say from the first row to the first little course things that you walk in, I call that the lower bowl.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got you. And they are connected, by the way, to the north end zone lower side. So I see that. But it's about taking out the benches and expanding comfort and lowering capacity. If you're not selling out 90,000 seats on a consistent basis, you don't need 90,000 seats. And with television and everything else, all you do is you just lower the capacity to say 78,000, 72,000, and work with that, maybe charging more money for seats, hoping that your team is good. And the comfort levels increase because, to me, that's what folks my age are looking for first and foremost.
They should in the lower bowl, they should build like nice, comfortable chairs.
Yeah. Nice
with these little fans that mist everybody.
Okay, that could be an answer. But hey, I'm really thrilled. The first 3 games are after 7:00 this season starting, and you have your little cup holder in the front with an armrest. I mean, why is that so hard? Look, the stadium in Jacksonville has been around. It was updated years and years ago from what used to be the Gator Bowl, and I like sitting in that place. I like sitting in the place in Tampa as well. So something like that, I think, would be appropriate for Florida Field or the Swamp and Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. They can still sell the hotel upstairs. They can still sell the hotel in the end zone. I think you should build a a club seating level down on the ground floor on the field in the end zone like they have at Mississippi State. Scott Strickland was huge on that innovation over there in Starkville at Davis Wade Stadium. He talked about that at a Gator Club meeting of maybe doing that in the south end zone, changing the locker rooms, changing where the teams come in and out. All of that in the south end zone needs to happen as well. It's all in the works, but it takes time. It's just something that takes time.
Yeah. All right, JC, we appreciate your time on this recorded edition. Now, live edition.
So we're back on. We're back on.
We'll be back Friday, but this is the last live program on a Wednesday until August 17th. All right, we'll talk to you on Friday. We'll see. We'll see how our Barbasol and our Scottish Open picks are doing on the Peachland Dental.
I'm glad you wrote them down. And I'm really worried about drinking out of aluminum cans now because of what Marissa said.
Look, JC.
Jesus.
I've drank out of a damn garden hose in a pipe for years at football practice. I mean, I may be dying, but what you gonna do about it now? Ain't a damn thing we can do about it. Keep drinking out of your can. I'm drinking out of they said out of a plastic bottle ain't good either. Oh well.
No, we're trouble. Okay, I'll see you Friday.
All right, that's JC. Join us on the Titan Number Hotline. Take a look. Final timeout. Come back, wrap up this Wednesday edition.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
With Caldwell Banker MM Parish will provide you with fast, friendly, and reliable service. Give her a call today at 352-562-1411 and help your dreams come true. I want to thank JC for joining us, filling in on this last-minute live program that we threw together since we didn't have a Monday program. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We'll have Brent Beard, a college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter, give us the rundown, get his thoughts on all this craziness happening in college football. Tell all your friends and family to follow our programs on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, obviously here. Tell your neighbors, tell your long-lost relatives all around the country. We're getting ready to do some revamping on the program. Y'all are going to like it, and should be in the next day or two, or maybe first of next week. But we appreciate you tuning in today. I know we surprised some people going live, but we had to do it. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today, 352-244-0840. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.